Alright, hey everyone. I have some Doom SnapMap in the works, and this is the thing that I was preparing to do before. I remember going through all of the tiles and getting a good idea of what I'll be doing with that. I spent a little bit of time now messing around with the settings, making sure that the player loadout is enabled. It just says give loadout, which is a little strange. And set max weapon slots, whatever. Well, basically, you can carry all 15 of the guns. Multiplayer has more guns than single player, as far as I can tell. It's actually kind of weird. And a lot of the guns are actually pretty cool, and you can carry them all at the same time. I'm not going to include all of them in this level. Maybe there'll be like different mixes of different guns and in future maps. There's also functionality now where I can go to the next level, so I can load another level after completing this the current one, which is also pretty interesting, which I think actually allows me to do smaller, more confined, much more polished, yeah, just really tightly designed levels specifically to get like maybe a few good encounters and a really strong atmosphere. Now, I'm going for a very strong atmosphere. I have some qualms about how this area right here doesn't foreshadow any key doors. I want to have a blue key be necessary, but since this room is so large, I don't have a way to necessarily foreshadow to the player that you need a key to open a door, so I might actually have to add a connector and then have a door, a blue door here, and then you go through this, and I'm going to change the way this is as much as I can. Like, there's going to be walls and things of that nature. Hopefully the AI doesn't freak out too much from that. And then you go back around, and depending on how I connect everything, the blue key will be sitting here, possibly have to flip a switch over here to make it become, something that either make it spawn there or open the path up by like removing blockers or something. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be able to get away with, but it would be really cool if I could have like bars or something that prevent you from getting to the key and actually have those bars disappear when you flip the switch. So the flow of this is pretty good. The weapons I'm going to go with are very likely to be burst rifle, shotgun, rocket launcher, chainsaw for this level. I'm not going to include all of these guns, there's too many. I'm going to have the player start off in this tile set, the military or complex tile set first. It'll just be like an entrance area, kill a couple of dudes, kind of, and then walk into this area. I'll have to figure out how to make that make sense, but I kind of want the player to actually start like they just left Belial's domain, and I do plan to actually go back and rework Belial's domain so that it makes use of all these new features and stuff like that. Oh yeah, there's another thing that I've noticed that's kind of important if you're doing SnapMap. They don't set static to true by default on these things. So if you don't want these things using up network traffic, I imagine it's probably not that much, setting them to static is probably a good idea. See, I had to set all these to static, and in the case of the candles, I also made sure that candles weren't solid. That's just something you have to get used to doing, getting in the motions of doing that, because you're going to be doing that a lot. I could already tell that while working on this that yeah, there's going to be like place an object, make it not static anymore, or make it static. It's just going to be pretty standard fare, and death ends the level. On death, if you die during the map, you start over. That kind of complements having shorter level as well. Like Belial's domain is probably lengthwise double the length of what I want to target for these style levels. I want these to be fairly short and really polished, just ultra polished, and really moody and scary, and and just feel like a really solid experience of a continuous string of very short levels, find key, open door, kill every motherfucker, all of the motherfuckers, and continue on. So with that said, I'm going to get started. Alright, so I got everything up to the first encounter blocked out. I have some comments on how I think they did things with the objects I'd like to talk about real quick first. The props. I'm not exactly sure how to deal with the fact that when you spawn in, you're just looking at a wall. I would rather have the screen fade in when you finally spawn or something like that. I'll figure that out. I'm liking the props, the bigger props, but I actually feel like they need to be even larger, and they need to be better objects. Like, I'm having trouble with shit floating off the ground, and one of the only ways to fix it is to literally like angle it on a wall by having the object selected and then right click, and that'll align the object to the wall, which then allows me to kind of like place it in the ground. If I wasn't able to do that, I would not have been able to get these objects to not look like they're floating off the ground, and they still do. And even though it may not look so bad while I'm in the editor, while you're in game, it's immediately obvious that this shit is just not on the ground. So I have to try extra hard to make sure that these objects not only line up, but that they're not floating. And that's proving to already be a pretty interesting challenge so far. So at least with the rocks, in the case of the rocks, I am able to do you know, rotations on them, which then allows me to place them into the ground. But for some reason, and I don't know why, they won't let me, like, there's a limitation to prevent me from, like, placing an object below the floor. Why? Why? Other than that, it took way too many objects to put a wall right here. And if I just had some larger wall pieces that are just meant to take up space, that would actually be a lot easier for me to work with. Like if I want to just turn this right here into a wall, maybe there's a way I can like put a texture on a fucking flat brush or something, and then just like put models in front of it, or maybe that maybe there is a trick like that. But as far as I can tell, the amount of effort that it took just to make this scene was a bit much. And the idea is that you finally come in through here and you start seeing stuff spawning in front of you, and then you can move forward. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it and show what I have so far, so you can see pretty much everything that I've gotten to this point. And I think it's taking me longer to do simply because it's the first time I'm doing it again. Like the first time always takes slightly longer than when I already know exactly what I want. So this would be really cool if it was a black screen and then it fades in, and then you got the cool ambient sounds. Now I'm going more with an ambience with this level. In fact, I may not even use the music for a while. So this is pretty ambient. I love this. There's a portal to hell, is a caution wet floor. sorry. Anyway, ruining the moment. I may trigger the additional enemies. I'm noticing another problem that kind of bugs me, which might actually have to force me to not use so many props, and that is the AI. The AI appears to not know that the props are there, so the AI seems to get stuck on stuff. I like this is like a peek hole. Maybe I could have something like hidden, or some kind of a secret back here. So I was actually thinking that I would just put a wall right here, and I don't know. That may actually not be something that I can really do. Yeah, I might have to just stick to, rather than trying to remodel areas, but rather just making areas look as cool as possible by placing sporadic different objects here and there, rather than try to modify the flow of the levels so much, which kind of puts a damper on things a little bit, I think. But I think I should be able to have some fun with it, even if there are problems. I'll probably put ammo up here, so like you'll see ammo, because you're gonna probably need some ammo. Right now I have yeah, I got 9 rockets. Jesus Christ, why do they give me so many rockets? Well, whatever. As piecemeal as this is, actually it doesn't look half bad. It kind of gives it character, I think, in some ways. I kind of funnel the player in this way as well. I like the idea of when you first enter this spot, you see the imp spawning over there, and then I give you a good 10 seconds. I probably should even increase it to longer, to like 20 seconds before other enemies start spawning as well. I'm actually thinking of getting rid of the damage numbers, because I don't know. I'm trying to set the mood, and the damage numbers kind of get in the way. Alright, so hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. I will be keeping up on this, as well as my Doom 2 level. Keep coming back for more, because I'm going to keep making more. Oh wow, that bleeds. Ew.
Back from the dead.